For the very first Ready Set Game Chat, we played Afterparty, a indie game from
Night School Studios.
They made previous games like that one.
Oxenfree.
That was the one I was thinking of. Thank you for filling in the words that I had.
I thought we were playing Mad Libs.
We are. Yep. You could have said anything and it would have been fine. This is our first time doing this, so we're going to figure it out as we go. I think I want to start with non-spoiler stuff, and then after we've just kind of said what we think of the thing, we'll go spoiler, and then we can say everything. So, Matt, just give me what did you think?
Top level, I played on the Nintendo Switch. I played it in 3 sessions. So I played kind of the intro, and then I played a middle session, and then I kind of played the biggest chunk that I played was like the last session I played. I think it took about 6 hours. It was slow-ish I kind of liked the setup, but I don't know, it wasn't clicking right away. But when I got to that last session, I didn't think I was going to play through the rest of the game at that point. I thought I was going to stop, but like as I had the momentum, I finished it out, and I was like, okay, this was pretty good. I had a good time.
Darian, what are your top level thoughts about this video game?
So, from a graphical point of view.
Well, start by saying where you played it.
Oh, I played on the Switch as well.
Okay. Because I played on PC, and I saw you play it on a stream a little bit, and like graphically wise, the Switch took a big hit.
The chugging was really bad.
Like I didn't mention that, but it chugged.
Also, there is the character models were way fuzzier, lower quality than what I got on my version.
Well, I could see that too. I guess that didn't bother me so much.
Oh yeah, the chugging for sure is why because I played that on Xbox One and it was chugging there, between areas, and I was like, I don't know about this, so I owned it on PC, so I played it on there, and it still chugged a little bit, but way less so than other stuff. But go ahead, Darren.
I guess I didn't love it, but there were aspects of the game that were appealing to me. Like the voice acting was really good. The setup was cute. I liked how they designed hell. I thought that was fun. But it was an incredibly slow game for me. I had to force myself to finish it so that I had all of like the complete game thoughts. I overall didn't enjoy it and probably won't play it again.
I had wanted to play this for a bit, and it was a deal of like this was a good excuse for me to finally sit down and do it. So like early on I had questions. I was curious, but it was just like I don't know. I had too many questions and not enough like, oh yeah, I'm intrigued. Like there wasn't like a clear like the answers are the right across the way. But then there was a point where like I was getting enough information that I was like, I want to see what's next. So yeah, I think I kind of lined up with Matt that happened. One of the things that I think is really cool about this game is the dynamicness of the story, because every section you have choices, and you have choices within those choices. And when the game ended, I was just like, wait, if this is how this happened, what would happen if I had done this? What happened if I had done this? What about like even like, I mean, there's like some big choices at the end, but like all of that is informed by choices that you had made previously and previously before that. So it very much like this game seems like it's high replayability because of all of these decisions. And I will throw in the submission we got about their thoughts on the game. Aaron said, I thought the music, voice acting, and art of Afterparty was really good, and the game has a lot of replayability. afterwards, I found myself asking what would happen if XYZ happened instead of ABC. It was so cool. So now with our top level thoughts, spoilers start now. If you are watching on YouTube or a podcast player, you should be able to skip to the next chapter. Something that's cool is I was actually looking on the podcast on my media player deal, and it actually like showed what the chapter marker was there. It was like, this is the introduction. I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't know it just showed that right in front of your face. So yeah, you can skip to the next chapter marker, or I don't know.
46 minutes.
I want to talk about the setup, like the environment of hell, like Darian was saying, like the design of hell, or like, its overall feeling. Yeah. But I think that was one of the best draws for me early in the game, was like the bureaucracy aspect of everybody's like, welcome to the DMV kind of thing, welcome to hell. All right, go get your paperwork over there. Like,
yeah. It very much, all the demons, I mean, they even say it like, we are forced to do this. This is who we are. We don't want to be doing it. This is just our thing. Yeah, and very much like you never get tortured, because it's like, I'm done for the day. Just leave me alone.
Yeah, everybody, once they got off the clock, it was just like, oh, okay, I guess now everyone just does whatever they want. All right, cool. I don't have to like go sit in a cage or something. Yeah,
it was kind of like the humans kind of seemed they have to just like find a place to live, or what, like they're huddled or whatever. I mean, it kind of, the way that the game plays out, it almost seems like everybody just gets drunk all night.
Yeah, they just go to the bars, right? And then when the next hell rising happens, they go back to their duties.
Yeah, and obviously the humans go get tortured, which, yeah, if you're getting tortured all day, getting drunk all night probably seems like, ideally you could fall asleep during your torture and it won't be so.
So the getting drunk thing is like the main mechanic, besides kind of yes or no choices, or branching dialogue choices. You can drink a cocktail and you get an additional dialogue choice, and each cocktail kind of has a different mood to it.
Yeah, different
and
ability.
They didn't all match very well.
How so?
Right.
So I drank early on. One of the first drinks that I picked was Flirty Floozy. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, it's going to be like super flirty. Like they're going to be like silly, cute, whatever. And no, the person, I was like, my dialogue choices were straight up just asshole. Like, I was just like, what is the point of getting a drink that has this special flag if that flag doesn't mean shit and I'm just going to be a jerk? Like, what?
So were you playing as Lola during that? Do you know?
I don't remember. It was like the first drink of the game, because I was taking a lot of notes at the beginning.
I mean, Lola for sure. I think like I think it'll modify the character's personality, but it won't change who they are as a person. Right. So like when Lola would drink something, she would just kind of become like that thing, but still Lola.
I think that was one of the like points I struggled with early on in this game too, was just like the super smarmy dialogue. And like, I don't know whether it's just like, oh, I'm annoyed by this, or oh, like nobody actually talks like this, or whatever it is. But there's something to the way it was written early on that I was like kind of put off from the characters. But as the game progressed, I was like, okay, this is what it is. And I think like I like the demons as they came into the story a little better. I think I more understood their personalities or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe it was the thing that like the Milo and Lola seemed to have this argument that like this, they were fighting when they died, that kind of carried on to hell. And we as we played, we learned that like, oh, they were moving away. One of them was moving away, and they were upset about that. And we kind of learned, oh, this entire time they've been pissed at each other, and we didn't know that till later in the game, and maybe that kind of explains kind of their angriness early on, but also they just got dropped in hell.
Right.
Yeah, probably not a great time.
My my main drive as the player was I want to know how they died, right? That was like how I made a lot of my choices early on. I don't know if you guys felt that way.
I was more curious about what they did to end up there.
Mm.
And you know, I questioned Satan about it, and like his answer wasn't much, and I think that was probably the devs kind of being like, they're not horrible people, but they still need to be in hell. So it's kind of a like, you didn't do enough. You weren't good enough. You were just like, you know, all right. You were passing, and that's not good enough to get into heaven.
I think, that drove my decision making a lot. Was okay, I want to know how we died, like what happened, and then it was like any decisions where I feel like I'm being tested, right? If I am gonna get out of here, right? Because that's your whole goal, is get out of hell. If I am gonna get out of here, I better do good things, right, to prove that I don't deserve to be here. That was kind of my other.
Which is interesting because like we saw that maybe the belief to do good things hurt, because like there was the court case where I think all of us sent him to heaven. All of us defended him and got him to heaven. Correct?
Roberto?
Yeah, I didn't throw the case.
Yeah. And that turned out that like actually he was an important person to helping Satan not like stop drinking. And I would have liked it. I don't think any of us threw that because like, yeah, like we don't suck.
See, here's the thing though. I tried to throw that court case. I did try to throw the court case.
Well, couldn't you have just stopped him from...
I don't know what I did wrong, but he was let go, and I was like, what the fuck?
Well, the
okay.
the guy had the evidence of like, hey, I know, you know, here's proof that he didn't do it. We have this thing. And they gave me the option of like, stop him from showing that. And I was like, no, he's clearly innocent. You know, go ahead. So did you not stop him from showing the proof?
I don't remember exactly what the decisions were, but I do remember that I was like, okay, you know what? This guy annoyed me. I didn't like him as a character. So I was going to try to throw the court case. And I must have hit the wrong button or something, because I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I was just like, this is not what I wanted.
Okay. So yeah, it seemed like that they kind of, they wanted to make it easy to go like, this guy's good. Like, or like he was set up, because he definitely, early on, they want you to, because he has a very creepy vibe. The way the whole dude talks, and he's like, can you fix my hair? And it's like, are you going to eat my face?
Did
like
you fix his hair?
I fixed his hair, but I had Lola be like, are you going to eat my face? Because it feels like you're going to eat my face.
I had that same interaction.
I fixed his hair because I was like, I'm always trying to play with my hair, so I'm going to fix this guy's hair. I understand how he feels. He's cuffed. He just wants it out of his face.
Where the first choice you had, you could go to help the security guy or get the girl the drink. Where do you guys go?
I got the girl the drink.
Got her the drink. It sounded easier.
I went the security one because it was like, that sounds too easy. Like, it's a deal. Like, even the characters had the interaction of like, that seems too easy. There's got to be more to it. And so, apparently somebody had faked, like, I guess if you overdose on drugs or whatever and like like your heart stops for a little bit or whatever, you can die and go hang out in hell for a bit and then come back. And so the security guy asked me to help him find out who it was. And it was pretty easy. Like, the dude, suck dick. Like, the first time I'm talking to him, he's just like lying about being Emperor of Earth. And then,
you're like, I was just there.
and then he later admits it. And so, because they gave you like several options of like who it could possibly have been. And the one dude straight up admitted, I was like, okay, so this is him. And I was like, this is the guy. And then he was like, you turned me in? And I like they tried to make me feel bad about it, but I was like, the dude straight sucked. No, he could burn. Like, he probably would have ended up in the bottom of hell anyway, regardless of me turning him in or not. Dude sucked. But yeah, so every time we made these decisions, Hornswallow,
Wormhorn.
would show up and kind of like
Sister Mary Wormhorn.
yeah, would make you doubt yourself, and she did that during the interaction I had when I was trying to figure out who it was. She popped up and she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "I'm maybe." And then I actually talked to the dude, and the dude straight up admitted, "I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. He just told me he's not supposed to. It's him."
So how many different things did you have to decide for the security case? Because with the other option, it became a whole quest line.
So there was 3. So I got to the bar because he's like, I think they're in here. And then there was 3 people to talk to. The first guy I just talked to, and he's like, no, it's not me, but I think this guy's it. And then when I went to go talk to them, there was 2 people sitting at the table, and then there was like I could decide to talk to either one of them, but I took too long, so one of them left. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm stuck talking to the other one, who ended up being the guy I was after anyway. So it wasn't a whole thing. I guess that was the deal. It was the one that seemed harder was the easier one maybe. But I had to play Jacob's Ladder to get him to admit it. So it seemed like, you kind of had to play these party games to complete the goal. Which
sure.
There's 3 party games throughout that you're doing beer pong, Jacob's Ladder, and dancing. Obviously, the first interaction you do beer pong to get up to hang out with Sam and learn about the like outdrink Satan thing.
I lost that first game of pong.
When I played on Xbox, I lost it. When I played on PC, I won it. But then I out-insulted him on Xbox. So...
Yeah, I did well. I started drinking and did the insults, and that worked.
Yeah, when I was doing the security guards deal, I lost the first time against Jacob's Ladder, but they were like, want to try again? And I'm like, sure. And then I beat him, and then they let me keep going.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you... So, I know Darian had to do Jacob's Ladder against Polly.
Yeah, I think all the dance competition and the 2 monarchs are you have to do, but how you do them changes, because I know I got Ozymandias and Beth back together because actually before I went to the bar, I actually decided to wander around a little bit. I bumped into Beth before I even met Ozymandias, and so I was just like, oh, she's over there, I'll go get her. So I got them back together, and then what happened was that I had her come to the dance competition, and then Ozymandias was just like, just throw it. I will give you the thing, just throw it and let me win. And so I, I purposefully lost, and then he signed my thing because I got his girl back.
I see, because with the first one with Linda, when you go to buy her a drink, you realize that she's stuck performing every night for eternity because she sold her soul for a successful musical career. So you have to get her out of performing that night so she can go to Satan's party, where they're having like a reunion of the band that she used to be in.
Yeah, the rest of her band died.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So then they're having a reunion.
So she wants to go, or you want her to go to Satan's party because she's got the VIP ticket, obviously, and you want her to go with. So you have to find a different musical act for her. And so before you're able to do that, you have to do a dance off? Or is it after? Maybe it's after.
I think it was before. You danced to like the other guys, right?
What?
The other group you danced to their music? You get up on stage and help them perform.
I don't even remember, but okay. I do remember that I went and picked like the 3, like the guys in shackles or whatever.
Was it like I picked the guys that were like DJing when you first show up? They're like doing an audition.
No, I messed up that interaction.
Oh.
So I had to, those guys that were sitting, they were in shackles. There was 3 of them, and you pick up their harmonica or whatever, their tune thing.
I don't even know if I did that.
Oh, yeah, when you're on your way to that bar, there's like 3 guys, I think they're monks or something, and they're in those things with like the head hole and their hands are held
okay,
out.
yeah. They're
right?
getting
I don't remember
flogged.
what it's called. Well, yeah, kind of, but then they're like singing. And one of them had dropped the
Right,
tuner,
that's
so
right.
you pick up the tuner for them and then go about your merry way. They're happy and grateful, whatever. And you go and talk to Linda, try to talk to what's the name of that demon in that bar? The one who has
Polly?
Linda's.
Apollyon?
No, that's later. It's like, I thought it was a guy. It's like
Oh no.
Oh no. Is it Onoskelis?
Yeah. I think so.
Does that sound right?
I think she just went by Ono.
Mostly Ono, yeah. So you talk to Ono, tell her whatever. You have to get a different act for Linda so she can go. So Matt did the act that was performing when you went in to go talk to Ono, which was like 2 guys.
It was like a DJ and a singer or something.
Yeah. And I got these 3 monks to perform at this bar. It was ridiculous. Like, because I messed up the interaction with the DJs. I said the wrong thing and I was like, oh shit, what am I going to do now? And we go outside and like, oh, maybe we can get these guys to do it. They'd be grateful for the gig. And it was ridiculous. Like, Ono was like, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this, but sure, whatever.
See, this thing, like, I like... This is cool about Afterparty is that it has this dynamic deal of like literally we all play the same game, but I'm like you had a completely different experience that I didn't know nothing about, and that's kind of cool. But we're all we ended up at the same path. Like, okay, so did either of you guys get Ozymandias back with his wife or his girlfriend, whatever?
I did. Well, so I just want to go back to this first seal real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
After you book a new gig, mine didn't go well. Like in the, Apollyon was pissed off or something like that. And so like some thugs came and they were like, you need to go over here to this other island very quickly. She's waiting for you. And then I got into like the drink off of Jacob's Ladder against her. And I lost that. And then she was like, you know what, kid, whatever. And like, gave me the seal anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the seal's after you get into the party, though.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. You have to, because you go to challenge Satan, and Satan's like, oh, you can't yet. You need to get these 2 seals.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when you go.
Okay, now
and
my thing's all out of order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apollyon is like, yeah, throw this case for me, and I'll give you my seal. And then you're like, and we all were like, well, we didn't do that. So
Yeah.
then she challenges you to a drink off instead.
Okay.
Yeah, because you got to get the VIP tickets. You can either get it from the security guard or the chick who needs the drink. I went security guard. You guys went drink. Then you get into Satan's house. Then he's like, okay, sounds great. Like, you get these seals, and then you can come do it. And then you've got 2 places. You need both of them. You need Ozymandias and Polly.
So everybody has to go to those 2 places?
Yes,
Okay.
because they need both of them, and it's just a question of how you complete that goal. I did go Ozymandias first, the party guy, and then
It's Asmodeus.
Asmodeus, okay, and then you
Sorry, I meant to correct you earlier, but you were like in the middle
Yeah.
of a deep discussion. Asmodeus is his name.
and then you go see, and then I went to go see Polly. So I did both, or tried to do, hey, helping them will be nice, and it's kind of interesting, like, because I completed it the different way, like I was straight up supposed to lose. I needed to do bad at the actual mini game to complete the thing.
Right.
Um,
So yeah, I won the dance off against him.
but
Me too.
I do imagine that if you did help, keep the guy in hell, then Polly would have just straight up given you her seal without any, or probably just play the game for fun. But I do know that Darian lost against Polly, and she still gave her the seal.
I did too.
Yeah. I won
I feel like
against.
Darian and I had identical playthroughs, actually, now that...
Yeah.
Except for the DJ.
Oh,
and
yeah. Like who we got hired, right?
Yeah. But that ultimately, didn't matter that much.
It's just
at
like
the
a
end,
wrinkle
I don't think.
in that
Yeah.
initial quest.
But then after that, you go back to Satan's house. Then they have the deal where they break up the group.
Right.
which is cool because then they're like, hey, these decisions you made previously, like, because there was a deal of like, oh shit, I was waiting like, oh, I should let Milo have one, and then suddenly they're like, oh, you never let Milo have one, fuck you. But watching Darian's thing, it seemed like that was gonna happen regardless. Just why that happened changed. She brings up different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like their base fight happens for different reasons, or
yeah, like what decisions
so we're saying,
you.
like, the two playable characters, Milo and Lola, since they were arguing the whole time, after you get your seals and go back to Satan's house, Wormhorn splits up the group, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, by causing a rift and completing her job as your personal demon.
Yeah, by saying like Lola is the only one who has a voice. Milo never gets to pick.
Which was weird. All the way through the game with Sister Mary Wormhorn, her name is Sister Mary Wormhorn. She's voiced with a very feminine voice. But other demons would refer to her as him, and Lola referred to her as it the whole time. Nobody seemed to gender her as her. Except for Satan. Satan called her.
Do demons have genders?
They seem to. Satan's a guy. Beelzebub was a guy. Apollyon's a chick. Like, they were all gendered, except for Sister Mary Wormhorn for some reason. That was wildly inconsistent.
Yeah.
I only noticed when Lola said it, and I was like, damn, Lola just didn't just like reduced her to it. That's what I thought was like.
I very much think that they wanted her to, or Wormhorn to was just like, you're nothing to us. We do not care. And I like that, like, they seem to shrug off everything that Wormhorn threw at them until that final moment where
Satan
they kind of
also talked about the lesser demons, or like the like personal demons being lesser demons, so they're like not even on the radar of residents of hell kind of thing.
I will say that reveal that, like, oh, your personal demon is about to die made me like, it was like I kind of liked Wormhorn. I know Darian did not.
I found Wormhorn to be extremely obnoxious the entire time.
Which I think
the
was...
game... The reason I found her obnoxious is because there was a certain flow to the game, and I don't know if it was because my Switch was loading slowly or what, because like they'd be in the middle of a conversation and stuff, and it would just be nothing for like 30 seconds, and then Wormhorn would show up, and I was like, what the fuck is the point of this? This is obnoxious. And so there were many times when Wormhorn would interact, and I just wouldn't say anything the whole time. I
did like that you could not say anything and it would go. I enjoyed that because I was like, a few times I didn't agree with either option. And I was like,
I was just like, these are not satisfactory. We're just not gonna say a damn thing.
I don't think it's maybe not fair to blame the game for that, though it's maybe a deal of like, maybe the dev shouldn't put it out on Switch if the Switch couldn't handle it.
Well, it sounds like nothing could handle it. It sounds like they need to optimize it better.
The loading screens were real long on Switch.
Around fine on PC, and maybe they should have just stuck with PC.
See, but you said there was even still a little bit of chugging, which tells me that there was a
slight amount of chugging at one point where I think they were loading in the entire area of it was in the boat sections.
I ran into that same like blank, I don't know, just like, oh, the game hasn't frozen, but there's nothing happening right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't when Wormhorn showed up for me. It was just like at the end of a conversation, or like in a weird break of like, at one time it was with Satan, and I was just like, wait, did this conversation end? Should I like walk away now? And then like 30 seconds later, he said something, and I was like,
yep.
Did I just miss a bunch of options? I don't know.
Like, what's going on? Yep.
I kind of like the Wormhorn sections, because what I ended up doing was like, the Wormhorn sections felt like the end of a chapter, and it felt like okay, this is a good place to stop. So it was like this is the end of that. Okay, I'm gonna take a break and play another deal. And when Wormhorn comes up to summarize, this is a good stopping point.
The couple times I stopped, it was like when I arrived at a new island. I was like, okay, I've gotten through that stuff. I'll arrive to the new place.
I think what I do is I go to the next section, but it was kind of like, okay, this is a good, like, this story is completed. Let's go to the next one. The next deal was you got the deals. You
have
go
to
get
reunite.
Yeah, you go get Milo back, and then Sam makes the reveal that she is Satan's sister and a conscientious objector to the heaven and hell battle, which I loved the way that they were kind of painting that dynamic of kind of the way things went down in heaven, the fall, how everybody kind of feels about it, that they're just kind of like, you know, they still care about God and all of that, and
Satan's
just like,
gotten lazy in his duties, and like, he needs to get his mojo back, and
that like,
and ultimately Satan has a fucking drinking problem.
That reveal at the end where it was just like, because she's like, you know, they're like, oh, there's gonna be a coup, and it's actually no, it's an intervention.
They staged an intervention. That was hilarious.
But before you got to the intervention, you got Milo, and then it was like, okay, get your team, because on your ride after the Sam reveal, they're like, pick your team. I went Sam. So yeah, it was you got two, because it was four people.
Yeah.
Milo and Lola, and then you got two people that you've met. I went Sam, obviously, and then I went with the security guard guy I picked early on, because he was like an annoying, like he was someone who like felt like he was just barely skating by, like he just wanted friends. Like the entire night he was texting, I'm like, hey, we should get a drink, like, hey, how are you guys? And so I was just like, I'm gonna throw him a bone, like, and stuff. Yeah, obviously, because I wronged Polly, I was sure as that wasn't going with her. Ozymandias, I got him back with his girl, so I felt like that was a good choice. But I was like, I want to see what happens with the security guard. His name was Fella, and I was like, I want to see what happens there.
No.
What?
So you take. Continue. Sorry, do your thing.
Yeah, so that was my choices, was Sam and Fella. What did you guys do?
I did. So after the Sam reveal, I was like, all right, Sam, you're in. And I kind of felt like, I don't know, that one felt cheap. Like, you're almost forced into picking her because of the way they do that. And like, Sam is the character you've built the most, you know, interaction and relationship with throughout the game.
Yeah.
So I picked Sam, but I kind of regretted it. But then I picked Sam and Polly.
I will say, I wanted, like, after they said that like Wormhorn was gonna die in an hour, I was just like I'd kind of grown to like, she was kind of annoying, but in a way that like I kind of appreciate her, because she was trying so hard.
Yeah,
the entire
right.
thing.
I liked her for that. Yeah.
Yeah, because like they were not having any of it, but she's like, come on, I'm doing my best here. So I appreciated that. So when they saying kind of like dressed her down and was just like, you're dead. Like who gives a shit? I wanted her to be on the team, so I picked Sam, and then I said no to everyone else, and then they were just like, oh, here's this random guy that we met early on who was like, I don't even know who this guy is, and it sounded like he was just a straight up drunk. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, so I reloaded my previous save and then fixed that, because I wanted her, like, I wanted her to have like a redemption arc, but no, we just don't see her again. Darian.
Well, my drinking team was Wormhorn and Linda.
You got Wormhorn?
Mm-hmm.
How?
There's an interaction in the bar when you go get a Milo. Wormhorn is in that bar playing beer pong by herself. You can go play beer pong with her and rectify the situation. Because when you go into the bar that he's at,
Bryce is dead.
That
you just
Milo
him.
is at, you can go talk to Sam at the bar downstairs. She tells you where Milo is, but she also says, oh, and Wormhorn's over there. And I was like, oh. So I went and talked to Wormhorn. I was mean to her at first, but then I was like, you know what? I feel bad for her. She's about to die.
Wow.
So we played beer pong, and then like in the taxi drive back to Satan, you're like picking your team, and I had read some spoilers, so I didn't pick Sam, because I was like, oh, no thanks. And I was like, all right, Wormhorn, sure. And Linda, hell yeah, let's go.
I wanted Linda on my team. I would have picked her instead of Sam, but I felt like they cheaply got me Sam.
See, and I did, because I was like, oh, who all can you choose for your drinking team? Like, this is interesting. And I looked it up, and I read a big, long Reddit post about how these people don't help you. And it was totally accidental, but I was like, well, I'm not picking those because I suck at this game.
Come on. Looking up spoilers.
I was unintentional, though. Like, I wasn't trying to have that part spoiled for me.
If you like Google anything, I feel like you're gonna accidentally come upon stuff.
Also, at that point, I was just like, I just need to finish this fucking game. Like, what's gonna get me out of here?
It's funny that you, a person who did not like Wormhorn, got Wormhorn on your team. I was like, I wanted her to have a thing.
And it's great because at the end, right when you win against Satan, unless you guys didn't.
So what ended up, you got your team, you go back, Polly does the reveal. So you guys both had Polly on your team, right?
No, just I did.
Okay, so you get there and then Polly pops up and is like, hey, this is an intervention. Like, you need to stop drinking, like when we're about to have our competition. And then Satan's just like, blah, da, 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 no, we got to go do this thing. And
Time to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so Satan was playing hardball, right? Like, kind of ignoring. He's like, what are you talking about? I don't know who you are, kind of thing to Milo. Like, what agreement? I don't have a game to play. And then Polly was a part of my team, but like the rest of her squad comes in. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, this is an intervention. Like, you got to stop drinking. He's like, no, we got a game to play. We got to go.
So both my people, both Sam and Fella, they do their intervention and then they keep doing their deal. Both Sam and Fella refuse to play. And I was just like, okay, I guess. Satan's squad sucked except for him. So you basically have 2-1 shot against beating him in the beer pong deal, but I could not. I nailed the two middle ones, but not the front two. So I lost my beer pong thing.
I also lost at beer pong.
I won my second game. I lost that first one way back. I was like, I'm not gonna lose again, and I did it. I beat Satan at beer pong.
Oh, nice. So when I lost that, they had kept with their intervention, and then Satan's just like,
bye.
Well, okay, so Darren, for you, both your people kept playing? Did they?
Yeah, Wormhorn and Linda both participated.
Were you controlling?
What?
Were you controlling them?
No.
Okay, did they do good?
No.
They didn't sink any shots?
I think we were down to 1 cup versus 1 cup, so and I only landed 1, so.
Oh, okay.
I think Wormhorn got both of the other ones. It went on for a while. Our fight was like our beer pong went on for a while because it was like, well, Satan landed everyone, but everybody else was missing.
Yeah, the rest of his squad sucks. Matt, who actually played for you?
Just Lola and Milo for me, because Sam and Polly both opted out. And like the first time I gave them both. I think I gave Polly the slide, like, just like, oh, okay, do what you think is right. Then Sam said it, and I was like, oh, come on, like, what are you doing? And then the second time, I was just like, oh, do what you think is right, and then didn't have to talk to them again.
Yeah, both my people opted out, and I lost the beer pong, and then they kept doing the deal, and Satan's like, we got to play the next game, and I'm like, I lost, but... and so
I'm game. Let's go.
at that point, I joined I was just like, yeah, we can't do this. This is bad. Ignore the fact that I lost. This is bad. You need to stop drinking.
Oh, no, I didn't do that. I was like, yeah, we should play the next game. These guys are squares.
Okay, that's good to hear because I was thinking we would have all ended up the same way. Matt, did you go intervention?
I went intervention. So I won the first game and then went I joined the intervention squad of like, you got a problem, man. You got to stop.
So what happens when you do the intervention stuff?
So, what happens if you still go to the second game, but when he goes to play Jacob's Ladder, you just straight up refuse to place the cup, and then when...
But you have to do it like 10 times.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's like he puts down like 5 cups, and then once he places the 6th one, the tower falls, and he's just like, "Fine,
We should set that scene a little bit. Like, so the intervention was going full force, right? Everybody's giving him a hard time, and then he just kind of like snaps you to this like other realm,
To limbo.
Yeah, and so it's just like the floating around beer cans and bottles, but then there's this floating island at the table, and you and Lola and Milo. I guess I identified as Lola.
Yeah.
You and Milo are
I
standing
identify as Lola
at the table, and then Satan's on the other end, and you're gonna play Jacob's Ladder again.
Yeah.
And then as he's going, he's trying to like goat you into playing against him. He's like, the only way you're gonna get out is to defeat me.
Yeah, and several times throughout the game they would break the 4th wall, and at one point like Satan did say like, "Oh, you think this will have some like secret ending or like secret way to win?" And I was just like, hopefully, but like it, it turns out like, I mean, you still end the game, but in a different way. It seems.
So I was like, I already won the beer pong. You're just gonna be tied with me 1-1. Like, let's go. I'm not gonna play this game. We'll see how it goes. And I just refused to play against him the whole way.
So, Darian, you won Jacob's Ladder?
I won Jacob Ladder. Yeah.
Did he play a perfect game? Did you have to do perfect?
He didn't play a perfect game. It was pretty back and forth, and I had to try really hard to catch up at the end. I thought for sure I was gonna lose again, and I was like, no, fuck, let's go, I gotta do this.
Could you kind of outpace him? Like you could, because there's 2 of you or something, or?
No, I mean, it's just Lola
it was
versus...
it was just Lola drinking. Okay. So I just had to drink really fast and like, it's really dial in.
Yeah. Okay, so since me and Matt got the one ending, how did your ending go, Darian?
I want to hear yours first. You guys have the more common ending.
Okay, so what happens is that you keep refusing to play. Satan finally like gives in and goes like, fine, takes you back to the party, and says like Milo and Lola gave up or like forfeited. You guys win. I will go seek help. And apparently they turned Sam's church into a rehab center.
Yeah, the church in hell into it.
And Satan goes there, and then you get the kind of epilogue story. And I imagine this is the same for both you and me, Matt, because we did help the guy go to heaven. Is that you're back at that bar that we've been to several times. I don't remember the name of it.
Something Strangler, isn't it?
Schoolyard Strangler?
Schoolyard Strangler, yeah.
And Milo comes up and like insults Lola.
She's sitting at the bar. He grabs a seat.
Yeah, and then insults her, and then tells her that she just got appointed to be the first human public defender in hell. Which seems to be a callback to the fact that she had won that case previously, and now they're kind of going like, hey, you're going to defend.
And she had said that she thought about being a lawyer in college.
Yeah,
that came up a couple times.
Yeah, so that seems to be that continuation deal. And then they just kind of have a little talk. It seems like they had been living separate lives. Like this is the first time they've been seeing each other in a bit. And then
I think there was a line about like, we've been to the same bar like 4 times in the last couple weeks or something. Yeah. I thought he said something like that, like they've been regularly meeting up there.
Maybe, but it definitely seems like they're not like constantly together is the vibe I got. Like they kind of agreed to separate a little bit, but still stay friends. And then there's a little bit like some other friends show up, and then suddenly Sam's taxi, like ferry, comes rocketing through the scene, and then Sam rushes in, and it's like, hold on, I got another way out. It's not this. It's gonna be something different. Maybe with jumping. It seemed like they were kind of like suggesting that like they're gonna make an Afterparty 2, but it's not going to be the same game. They're gonna
they're like with running and jumping, like
maybe
more
we'll see.
Platforming.
And yeah, so Milo and Lola stay in hell. Lola seems to have they kind of like found a place in hell, but now they are there. So Darian, what's life on the other side like?
Well, after I beat Satan at Jacob's Ladder, we go back to the party, and everybody who was staging the intervention was like, okay, whatever, fuck this, and they all started just leaving, and Satan's like, yeah, king of partying, like, you guys can go back to live your life as normal, but also, the people who were part of your team also get to go back to Earth, and so... Milo and Lola go back to, like, living their regular lives, but then, like, Linda, the dead musician who's been dead for a while, and Wormhorn, a fucking demon, are on Earth with you. And it, like, the epilogue starts, like, 3 months later or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
same
like,
for us.
Yeah, Milo and Lola are on the phone with each other, catching up. Like, Lola's, like, in a nonprofit or something. She's, like... working at a nonprofit, and Milo's running a magic shop, and they're like just shooting the shit, and it sounds like they have plans to like meet each other soon, like they're gonna travel to see each other soon. And then Lola's basically like, I don't think it really matters what happens. We have a demon and a dead musician with us, like we're gonna go back to hell when we die. And then like just before you see Wormhorn and Linda at all, like they're just talking with each other, she says that, and then Linda just walks into the screen on Lola's side, and Wormhorn is like upside down in a bathroom behind Milo, and is like, Lola, I'm learning how to use the bathroom. It's gross. Like, just ridiculous. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how it ends.
Wow.
We're pretty sure we're going back to hell, but here we are just living our normal lives again.
That even like the amount of possibilities is just mind blowing right now, because like if that's the thing, like so that means that any of the people that you could have had on, like if you had Sam or Polly or
like
whatever.
If I had Sam and Polly, if we won, I would have had Satan's sisters.
Yeah.
Right? Back
and
up.
then what would that mean? Like she's kind of, a not like she just didn't participate in the fight. Like maybe there's stuff that like,
yeah, I wonder what that ending cutscene is.
Yeah,
they're just pissed at you.
There's, from my understanding, 3 distinct endings. My guess is you do the intervention, you win, or you try and win but lose.
Fail. Yeah,
would be my 3 guesses. But then it sounds like even further there's even more branching, because like then you've got the question of like what happens if you bring different people? What happens if you let that guy, didn't help that guy get out of hell, but still participated in the intervention? And then there's also things like early on, they ask you things like, Lola, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a housewife or a leader? And I think I went leader.
Did we all choose businesswoman or whatever, leader?
Which seemed like the obvious answer. For Milo, it was like, did you think someone cheated on you? I said yes.
I said no.
Also said yes.
Okay, so what did that, like, I think Wormhorn brings that, did she bring that up at some point to you?
I think just referenced it again later, or like made fun of me, like, I don't know, because he was kind of like, well, I didn't even like date people, you know, like, he was like, I'm a loser. Also, Milo.
Yeah, so there's like those big ones that you have, and obviously like Lola's, it definitely felt more like Lola's story than Milo's.
Maybe that's how you identify.
Like Lola's thing came up several times.
I think she got more screen time or more control time, right?
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I guess that's their dynamic, right? That was kind of the lesson.
But also, there was a line early on where they ask you, like, or where they're talking about, like, I can't believe hell exists. And Lola can go, like, yeah, or like, I can't believe this either. Or I was religious. And it was an interesting way. Like, there were some choices that would, like, define the character that you could choose. Like, this game honestly has so much replayability to go, like, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do this? And honestly, like, I wish I could have loaded it back up and like redone that final drinking deal and be like, what's this ending look like? What's this? But no, you very much have to play
one
the
save
entire
file, auto saving.
Yeah, you have to play the whole thing.
It's not super long, so
no, it's could be a cool like afternoon thing.
It'd be cool if they gave you like a after you finished it, if they gave you like a chapter select or
Oh
something.
yes,
or-
yeah, something like Heavy Rain does.
Yeah. Did you guys look at like the Bicker Twitter stuff at all? There's like a photo section in the menu and like the
Oh
Bicker
yeah.
threads.
I ended up looking at the photo section once, and it was like, oh, cool. Like, there's these like pictures of like these moments we've been having.
Yeah,
Almost.
I wish that was like integrated somehow into
Yeah.
the actual game a little more.
Only time I looked at the Bicker thing was like if there was a message that popped up that I like partially read, but then went past me when I kept walking. I was like, wait, what'd that say? And then I could look it up. But overall, it was kind of set dressing, just kind of like these funny jokes as you were walking.
I felt like the scale of the UI was like really small, and I don't know if it was just because I was playing on Switch, but I was playing on a TV, but I was still sitting across the room. But it was like, man, I don't know whether my eyes are starting to go or like it's just too small or the text is just too contrasty.
Right.
But I felt like every time I was reading a drink description, it was like, what does that say? I can't see.
Yeah, I'm not
And any
sure.
of the Bicker stuff was small.
Should we going forward all play on the same system thing?
No, I don't think so.
No,
Okay.
I don't
think
think
it's-
that's necessary.
I think it's kind of good to get the like Darian and I both experienced like, man, this thing was not optimized well for the Switch. The loading screens took a while. It chugged when you got into new scenes and stuff like that.
Sure, but I mean, on that deal, we also that I don't know affected how you saw the game.
Right. But I
Yeah,
mean,
so,
that's
yeah.
that's fair, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to get a wide range of experiences. That honestly, even if the game had run better, I don't think I would have ultimately felt positive about Afterparty. It was just not. It wasn't engaging enough for me. In my opinion, I wanted Afterparty to be a little bit more wild and crazy and spontaneous, and it just felt like a series of fetch quests. It felt like, hey, go here. Oh, wait, never mind. You have to go here. Wait, no, stop. You have to go here. And that's like, it didn't feel good to me. It wasn't fun.
I'm glad
That's
it
not what
wasn't
I
too
want.
long because of that.
Right.
Right. I think
Yeah.
it was a good length because like when you got the seals and you got back to Satan's house and then Lola and Milo get split up, I was like, man, I hate when games make you then backtrack one more time like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're at the end. We're almost done. Yeah, I almost quit. I almost quit at that moment. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This game cannot be over fast enough.
It seemed like a game that really should have been PC only. I will say I played on my fancy new monitor that's got HDR. It looks so freaking good. Like that game is very much, light and dark. That looked really good in HDR. And then the soundtrack, like Erin said in her comment, the music was very
the music was
cool.
pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a cool story. Very much like due to all these choices, it made you feel part of it, and it's cool to be able to have this conversation. And be like, we play the exact same game, but we like it was
we had
very
pretty
different.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like games that like, you can have these different stories, but still have the same thing.